cosmopolitan city of Cape Town to the majestic heights of Table Mountain and golden beaches far beyond, the Cape Peninsula bids you a warm African welcome. Cape Town Harbour greets another busy day, and there's no more inviting place to start the morning than the Victoria and Alfred waterfronts. Forlorn old warehouses and neglected office buildings of the Victorian era have been magically transformed to create a vibrant waterfront with a nautical charm. Today, elegant hotels like the Table Bay and the Cape Grace stand alongside the proud old buildings of days gone by. There's a vast selection of world-class shops and an array of glittering restaurants to choose from, with spectacular views of a bustling dockland development. The Two Oceans Aquarium is a wonderland of undersea creatures, from the small and graceful to the large and deadly. It's also home to a family of playful seals and penguins. If you prefer some underwater adventure, you can't beat the thrill of a close encounter with a great white shark. For the brave at heart, shark cage diving is becoming a popular attraction at the Cape. Visitors can take a ferry across to Robben Island, where charismatic statesman Nelson Mandela was imprisoned. The tiny island measures just 3 by 1.5 kilometres and lies roughly 11 kilometres north of the waterfront. In 1658, founder of the Cape, Jan van Riebeeck, established a high-security prison on the isolated island, and it remained as such until Mandela's release in 1990. The island was named for its large colony of seals, which in Dutch are called robbe. Whether it's winter or summer, Cape Town is colourful. Government Avenue is a lovely shady stroll from the luxurious world-class Mount Nelson Hotel, past the historic Houses of Parliament, right into the heart of the city. Visitors will pass company gardens planted by Jan van Riebeeck, founder of the city and the man responsible for establishing the early settlement here. The castle is one of the oldest monuments in the country, built in 1679 to a 5-pointed star shape as a fortress to protect the settlement against attacks from the sea. Cape Town's new International Convention Centre is a bright, modern development on the foreshore, with the facilities to host world-class events. Yet another drawcard to boost the city's flourishing tourism industry. The city bowl stretches from the foreshore right up to the foothills of Table Mountain, where visitors can board the cable car for a spectacular ride to the summits. This great sandstone mass is estimated to have been in existence for over 350 million years. The cars rotate 360 degrees, giving everyone an opportunity to take in the awesome rocky contours and unsurpassed mountain views of Lion's Head with Sea Point beyond. Or you could opt to experience this mountain wonderland at close range, abseiling from Table Mountain under the watchful eye of experienced guides. Fashionable Greenpoint with its restaurants and clubs mingles with bustling Sea Point, with towering apartment blocks which sweep right down to its popular promenade. Cape Townians are proud of their landmarks, like the lighthouse at Mully Point and the noon gun on Signal Hill, which ensures that everybody knows when afternoon arrives in the city. And then there are the beaches, secluded bays, crisp golden sands, miles of sun-bronzed bodies, and a chilly Atlantic Ocean. "12 rounded outcrops of rock, appropriately known as the 12 Apostles, tower above exclusive residential suburbs. The coastal road winds high above the luxury enclave of Llandudno, with Sandy Bay beyond. A glorious sheltered beach, yet the rusted remains of ships off the coast bear testimony to the treacherous seas and unpredictable storms which often threaten this coastline. Seal Island is accessible by boat and gives visitors a greater insight into the habits of these lovable sea creatures. Hout Bay, a picturesque village with a welcoming atmosphere, plenty of good restaurants, an inviting beach, and a quaint harbour where a fleet of weather-beaten fishing vessels brings in plentiful catches of snook and seafood, which earn Hout Bay its nickname of Snookies. The actual name Hout Bay is derived from the Dutch word for wood, as the area was rich in timber and still boasts areas of shady indigenous forest. The entrance to the basin-shaped bay is guarded by the rounded 331-metre peak known as the Sentinel. Chapman's Peak Drive, 10 kilometres of magnificent coastal highway that clings to the cliffs above jagged rocks and a turbulent sea. Chapman's Peak Drive offers visitors a breathtaking view across the icy Atlantic Ocean and links Hout Bay with Noordhoek, a quiet neighbourhood with a country style all of its own. Surfing at Long Beach with its rolling breakers, or Kommetjie, meaning the little basin, which aptly describes the round curve of its bay. Follow the road past beaches strewn with rocks and alive with seabirds to Scarborough, an idyllic and remote little retreat perched on cliffs with magnificent sea views. The southernmost tip of the Cape Peninsula is a jagged finger of mainland that points out to sea, where the chilly Atlantic mingles with the warmer Indian Ocean that washes the east coast of the country. When Portuguese navigator Bartholomew Dias rounded the Cape in 1487, he dubbed it the Cape of Storms. But as it promised to be a vital refueling point en route to the spice trade in India, it was hailed in Europe as the Cape of Good Hope. Today, visitors can hike to the beacon at the summit of the cliffs or take the funicular rail car for a seascape that will never be forgotten. The Cape of Good Hope Nature Reserve is rich in plant life. Its plains covered with indigenous fynbos. The reserve is also a haven for wildlife, including springbok, eland, zebra and wildebeest. Welcome to Simonstown, headquarters of the South African Navy, a town steeped in naval tradition and nautical character. You'll hear stories of a Great Dane called Just Nuisance, who considered it his duty to keep an eye on wayward sailors, and you'll enjoy some of the finest seafood and Cape hospitality. And just down the road at Boulders Beach, there's a noisy gathering of African penguins who seem a little overdressed for a day on the beach. The wooden promenade guides visitors into the heart of this breeding colony, where they can observe the fascinating habits of the birds at close range. Many of the peninsula beaches are inviting breeding grounds for another sea creature, the southern right whale, who approaches the mainland during calving season, much to the delight of whale watchers from around the globe. For safe swimming and water sports, Fishhook is the place to be. The water is warm, and so are the people in this relaxed resort town. The main road which runs through the town continues on past Glen Ken to Cork Bay, where visitors can watch the catch of the day come in and enjoy it cooked to perfection minutes later. Cork Bay is also an appealing shopping mecca, with exotic shops which range from quirky antiques to China bric-a-brac, designer fashion to kitchenware. The road and railway line run parallel through these coastal towns, so access is easy for visitors. St. James, quaint with its old world charm, and busy Muizenberg with a holiday appeal all year round. Luxury golf estates like Steenberg are popular, particularly in Cape Town's southern suburbs, and particularly when there's a wine estate on your doorstep. The wines of Constantia are highly sought after the world over. continuing a tradition which began in 1685 when farmland was granted to Cape Governor Simon van der Stel. Vines were planted on the slopes behind Table Mountain and the wine shipped to Europe, where they soon became a favourite in the royal courts. While Groot Constantia's gabled facade and elaborate pediment of sculpted cherubs recall a proud past, its award-winning wines promise a lucrative future indeed. Visitors to the estate may enjoy a sumptuous meal on the terrace, drinking in the beauty of its mountainous surroundings as they sip the fruits of its vines. At Kirstenbosch Botanical Garden on the southeastern slopes of Table Mountain, some 4,000 species of indigenous plants are cultivated as a spectacular showcase of South African flora. This is a haven of peace and tranquility, overshadowed by the great heights of the mountains beyond. The lofty setting of Rhodes Memorial recalls the vision of a man dedicated to the development of this fair cape for generations to follow. Cecil John Rhodes, whose legacy lives on in a city renowned for its beauty and prosperity. The University of Cape Town, and below it, the green fields of Newlands Sports Stadia, where the fortunes of the country's sporting heroes have been made and lost through the years. From Cape Town's older landmarks to a thrilling new attraction, Rotunda Junction adjoins the fashionable Canal Walk at Century City, an elaborate development of shops and office parks which lends an exotic dimension to the city of Cape Town. Follow the N2 highway from the airport and you'll discover another facet of this inviting city. The sprawling, informal settlements of Cape Town offer visitors a glimpse into the heart of Africa, where a distinctly African rhythm echoes from open doors and children play contentedly in the dusty streets. Township dwellers are proud to extend their hospitality to outsiders eager to gain insight into this vibrant culture. Bus tours are available to give visitors an intimate South African experience. Further east along the N2 highway, at the foot of the Helderberg Mountains, lies Somerset West, a lush green residential area which spills down to mingle with the Strand, a popular seaside town. The route continues to Gordon's Bay, a tiny jewel on the map with its own quaint harbour and secluded golden beaches. You've seen the unsurpassed beauty of the Cape, but to truly experience it, you've got to taste it too. Wine tasting is as much a Cape tradition as gabled buildings and spicy Malay curries. South Africa is renowned for its fine wines, which are cultivated here in the vineyards of the Cape. There are several wine routes across the Western Cape, including Stellenbosch, Paarl, Franschhoek and Robertson, and visitors are invited to taste their offerings. Many estates also offer sumptuous breakfasts, lunches and dinners. Stellenbosch is a charming university town. Its streets lined with shady oak trees and flanked with buildings and homesteads preserved as national monuments, some dating as far back as 1679. Surrounded by rugged mountains where vines grow at the foothills and whitewashed gables recall a proud winemaking history, Stellenbosch is indeed one of the scenic treasures of the Western Cape. The Huguenot refugees of 1688 settled in South Africa's French corner. Franschhoek, a lush and fertile valley where superior wines are cultivated and superb food is the order of the day at restaurants like the world-renowned Haute Cabrera. And when it's time to return home, we offer you a souvenir of the Cape Peninsula, a memory of mountains and vineyards, pristine beaches, friendly people, and a vibrant city. And the invitation to return for another warm African welcome.